Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Man of Steel. In today's episode, I'll be having an interesting conversation which you wouldn't want to miss. And today, I'll be talking of IA, not AI. You heard me right. IA. What does IA mean? IA actually means internet addiction. And why did I come up with this topic and actually trying to discuss on it and just try to bring it to light? There was this time I was actually going through the files, the music, the movies, and actually the things I have in my phone and my PC, and then realize that they don't give me the same hit as things that are on the internet. And then I got to find out that I'm not the only person who's going through this. There are people who are busy scrolling on probably their Facebook, their Instagram, their TikTok, and they're not actually getting the same hit to real world things that they're actually having, you know. And this got to hit me that why do we have this joy in us? And what I got to actually research, Buddy, I went on Google Scholar. Buddy went on NCBI as well. What I found out was there's this what we call dopamine. And dopamine is not an hormone. It is a neurotransmitter which is part of the frontal cortex just behind your forehead. And it's really that part of your brain which is responsible for things like decision making, impulse control, as well as goal setting. So it being in charge of these functions actually like gives you one thing that you really need to know about it. It mostly gets to affect how your behavior gets to be, how your impulses are, and how you get to evaluate like consequences in life. And once you become so addicted to hits of dopamine and not putting work into things that you have to like get to achieve at the ending of it, it gets to really hit you. And once it hits, it actually gives you the long-term effects such as you have that like tolerance body that word, you feel like you really need a lot of stimulation for you to actually like hit your joy levels. And actually you actually lack the cognitive effect of actually being a good planner, and actually you actually be a person who's like prone to easily being distracted by things that are going on. And why I say easily distracted is because there are those distractions that will come about in a way where you're like on your PC, you're actually studying or researching or maybe just doing something, you're focused, and something like a notification does pop up. After the pop-up happens, you know what happens? Or maybe you're just like on your phone and then you see a notification, your eyes will definitely switch to that. And why that happens is because your dopamine wants to hear, okay, what's happening here? Oh, what's going on there? But at the end of the day, there's this philosophy that I want you to carry. If you're doing something and something pops up, please just do ignore it and finish the thing that you're actually like trying to put your mind to. And after it's done, then you can probably go back to the thing. I mean, uh, why actually talk of this when we're actually in a progressive world where we can't run away from the fact that there's the internet, there are devices, there's Neuralink being developed, there are Androids being developed. Why now? It's because of this research that was done by Hong Zhang, and I actually found this on actually Google Scholar as usual, scientists research. So the name of the paper, but I'll provide the link to the same article in my description. So the name of the article is Molecular and Functional Imagining of Internet Addiction. So one thing that really struck me when I was going through this article is that this IA, which is the internet addiction, actually causes some physiological effects on a human being. And once I got to see some of the investigatory images of the brain that were captured by someone who has been diagnosed with having IA, what happened was like it's called the prefrontal cortex. Once the prefrontal cortex get to be hit with a lot of dopamine, it gets to cave in. And your prefrontal cortex is like the part of you that is, I think, did I mention this? But it's a part of your brain that is actually like responsible for decision making, impulse control, and goal setting. But once that is affected, when you go to decision making, it's like whenever someone is like on their phone scrolling social media, like digging deep, you're giving that decision making part not to yourself, but to the internet. You're telling actually your device to actually like regulate your life. And then moving on to impulse control, you actually be prone to not reacting to things as you're supposed to because you're used to freezing and having something of the control over you. And goal settings too, it's good to have like those times when you just lay, but not always where you after that's like, okay, say, okay, I have to relax, I have to chillax, I have to actually like just not be stressed and pressured, but not always. And set goals, please. And once you give this power to your devices, I mean, bro, I'm actually accessing you through this device, but maybe you went through this part because it was part of the educational section. So the dopamine, which is actually like secreted by the brainstem, which is like next to the hypothalamus somewhere there, it actually going to cause a lot of effects if I had to look at it. In the short term, of course, you're not gonna see them. You're actually gonna be like, nah, I just like don't do a lot of hobbies. I actually just I'm like a slug. I like just like sitting, and I just actually don't like involving myself out there because there's so much negative energy. You are the negative energy. Oh, let me know use that energy. You're actually the negative energy type of a person. You are the one who's actually like having it, the negative energy, because you once you go out there, you're actually going to give that negative vibe when everyone is just trying to exist and live. So wake up, go and do your best. And probably moving on to the long-term effects, I don't know why I drifted to that side, because sometimes it does really touch me, to people who are always like scrolling and stuff like that. I feel like they're wasting their lives. So some of the things that actually will get to happen to you in the long term are actually you'll be less focused. There will be pain. I don't know why I said pain, something like pain. When I was going through the article, those are some of the effects. And of course, I use some Copilot and ChatGPT in that. But also, there will be you'll be like prone to distractions. As I said earlier, when something just pops up, a notification, something like that, you just turn your head to that. You will not be focused. You will not have that like mind to actually be like, okay, I have to focus. I have to actually like see to it that this thing that I'm studying is going to be seen to completion. Completion won't be actually be seen from time to time. So just make sure like you actually make your structure of these things. And let's do this. Let's do this. I'm going to come to the part of this video where I actually talk of change doesn't come as a result of signs, but change does come as a result of intention. Once you really intend to do something and you put your heart to it, at the end of it all, it's going to happen. So how are you going to run away from the feeling of where, if you're on the internet per se, and you had to be stripped off that internet for quite some time, and then you're in an environment or a place where you can access it, then you're gonna be like, oh my god, this is like hell. What I'm trying to do is just trying to prevent that feeling, because this part of this part of the playlist where these videos are being uploaded is part of the personal growth section. So them being part of the personal growth section, as you personally grow, there will be instances in life that you'll be going through that will actually test you. And testing in this generation, how I see to it is like, if you're to be stripped off of your devices of the internet, you'll feel sluggish, restless, as if you can't do anything on it. But this will prepare you for that. Say you have your devices, say you have everything, and then you just can't access the internet. What do? Start with a frame, which I'm also trying to develop. So we'll see who develop it first. So it goes like this. Make folders that will actually contain things that you would want to actually like go through the time you're not connected, or maybe like online or stuff like that. And some of the things that you need to do are actually like develop those folders and make sure you section them, partition them. This is like for motivation, this is for workout, this is for like maybe linguistic classes, this is for probably like my educational stuff like that, articles that I have to just like read at that time and that time. So much so that when you're off the internet, you are actually still fulfilling and trying to chase for the vision. Not where you're off it and you feel restless, you just feel like, oh my god, it's going to come like that. But baby steps, you feel me? Baby steps, right? They just have to be like there, you don't just start walking as a baby, you have to be crawling. So make sure you develop those files and everything, and make sure that they'll actually help you, because I'm telling you, once you check out this article, it's really going to touch you. Like for real, you're going to be like, yo, this is how someone's brain can be kept just by being so addictive and in tune and not doing anything apart from just scrolling and stuff like that. it's dangerous. And this research was probably like done in the 1993 or 1998, something like that. Although it was done in those years, now imagine if the research had to like be done or replicated again, like to nowadays. Imagine what results they would find, man, mad. So thinking of that, and also being on that, I believe I can for surely say I've come to the end of this. I really structured it in a way that you can build and probably take notes of. And the thing to take here is that please do balance it. You can't run away from one thing, and that one thing which I'm talking of is the world actually being a three-dimensional plane of existence being, and the other thing being like the internet. You have to find a place where you live in tandem with them. You have to find balance. And once you find balance at the end of it all, you're going to see that you occur and exist with them and feel more fulfilled than you actually were before. And actually, be ready. Be ready. Internet addiction is real. I actually got to start this path which I'm taking in life because there was this point I can't say I was addicted, but I was constantly checking on things. How do people make videos? How do they make them interesting? But even though I was doing that, I wasn't like just scrolling and just consuming things which I wasn't supposed to, just like for the point of just posing and stuff like that. It's actually degrading the mode of existence of humans. So if at least humans are to like have that intention and not just expecting for signs, it will be something that probably would help the world. You feel me? So take this from me. Growth doesn't come as a sign. It has to come through you having intentions, and make sure those intentions are spoken loudly, clearly, and with confidence too. Be arrogant about it. Be angry about it. As long as you just chase for it and make sure that it's fulfilled at the end of it all, because that's the reason we three-dimensional plane of existence being exists. It's something like that. You interpret it in one or the other, but we go through different things. But you may try to like relate it to some of the things that you know and go through. But with that actually being said, I best believe I've come to the end of this. I've come to the end of this thing. Damn, I've come to the end of this thing. So yeah, just check out the article. I bet I'll even like add more articles of which just talk of the same IA, and you can actually be like, oh yeah, this is some real stuff. We really need to have this thing like party put out there so that people can see it and be like, oh my god, this is real. And that research was done in 1993, and imagine if it were to be done now, the results would be lethal and tragic. They would actually like cause mass panic and something like that. But I'm not trying to move to that part of like causing mass panic and stuff like that. But just take it from me. It was educational and it was fun for me to make too. So just relate them and actually just be yourself and actually just trust your sources. And thank you. With that being said, I best believe I've come to the end of this thing. And please do enjoy your three-dimensional plane of existence time that you have. Life is short, but it's long if you actually do intend on things that you have to do and you find that they are hard, but you still keep pushing and moving. Those are the things that make life more worthwhile than just living and expecting your devices to live for you, or maybe the internet to actually like live it for you. Yeah, thank you. I'm done. And please do comment, subscribe, and do some things like that. Yeah, it really helps. I don't know if it helps, but it really makes me feel as if someone is reaching and actually like getting to be in tune with these things. So thank you. Have a blessed one. Sayonara.